Acts of kindness. Welcome to Presente, a space and community that vibes on being in the moment, something we are relearning how to do in a fast-moving world.
We are excited to be part of a growing movement that talks about topics that we feel haven't been talked about in our Latin culture and womanhood.
Be present with us. Take a pause and break down societal norms.
Redefine the meaning of existing. Welcome to Presente, the podcast.
Hello there. Happy February, the month of representing and celebrating love, Black history, and a new trending movement that is random acts of kindness. Apparently, this occurs during the month of February, starting from Valentine's Day, and this year it is from February 14th to the 20th. Ain't that nice? For today's episode, we're going to dive right into this because our message is clear and simple and sweet, and that is be kind. Be kind to one another, yourself, neighbors, strangers, colleagues, family, and to my New Yorkers, yes, y'all, be exceptionally kind. Kindness truly does go a long way. In fact, it goes deep. When someone may be having a rough time, difficulties, hardship in their circumstances, kindness is golden. We just never really know what another person is going through. And with that, we must not project anything less than kindness.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Vasquez. I'm in Presente podcast. I'm grateful to be here.
Speaking of kindness, joining us today, we have a special guest who is not only kind, but lives with a joyous outlook on life, and that radiates through. She's an entrepreneur, influencer, lover of life, and my fellow Cancerian, Elizabeth Vasquez. Thank you so much for joining us here on Presente. I am truly honored to have you here on the show. For those of you who don't know, Elizabeth has been a longtime family friend, and I'm very excited to actually have her here because she is a very prime example of what it is to be kind to yourself and to others. And I think many people need to open their mindset and sort of just, follow through as well. So Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us. And speaking of kindness, I wanted to know from you, why is kindness so important?
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm loving this. I'm so grateful to be here. Kindness for me is like you don't even know what someone's going through. And you just by smiling at them, by being nice to them, by saying hello, by just, trying your best to being kind. Everybody goes through stuff in life. And just by you just smiling at a person, you make their day a better day.
Well, you are absolutely right about that. You just never really know what anyone is going through. Gestures of body language and welcoming someone, even with a smile and a simple hello, definitely, can resonate with people. It determines whether they take a step forward with you or not. And we all know that. We all been there, done that. And we all know what it is to have on the other side someone being nice to us and not knowing what we're going through.
That is so true. I could tell you, like, I was going through a situation in the past. I had this job and I was really, really sad. I was losing my job, 21 years. I thought I was going to retire there. My boss passed and his son decided to sell the company. So that day I was crying and everything in the bathroom. I cleaned my tears and I said, let me go buy some food. I wanted some tacos to feel better. I went to this taco place for the first time and I was smiling, asking the lady for, what kind of tacos they had and everything. And I remember that lady said to me, oh my God, you got the most beautiful smile. You just made my day. And at that point, I was feeling horrible. But just by her saying that to me and just by me smiling at her, she made my day and I made her day. So that's why being kind is so important.
I love that it's like it can easily be an even exchange if we allow it.
Definitely.
What are some of the ways you practice kindness to yourself? Your top three?
To me, the minute I wake up, to me, I feel like I'm being grateful, getting off my bed. There's so many people that they in a hospital bed. For me, putting my Alexa to wake me up with music waking up and just, thanking God for getting off my bed, listening to a podcast each morning while I'm getting ready. That's a most for me. For me, that's the most important thing. Just getting ready, getting myself beautiful to come leave my house with the best attitude to go to work, even though sometimes we don't want to go to work. But, just be grateful that you're able to go to work.
I think that that's such a wonderful reminder because I've stated before that we live in a really fast-paced society, and we tend to forget the gratitude within each day because of how quickly life goes by. But it's important, as you said, to take a pause and to wake up feeling grateful, wake up feeling, hey, I have my job to get to, even though sometimes that dynamic is struggling.
Yeah.
But the fact that we are able to do these things is a wonderful thing. And those are just reminders that we need to sometimes, remember as the day goes on. So it's really important. I love those three. Self-care is is up there for sure.
It is very important.
I've learned to work with what I have because if not, time's just going to continue to pass you by. You're not going to get anything done. And here we are. So I've learned to just let me work with what I have. I don't have a grand studio, but yet here we are with the launch of a podcast. I absolutely love that you touched upon being grateful. And Jissela, I agree with you as well. We tend to lose sight of that in the simplicity of what it is to wake up, because every day it's like a ongoing routine and ongoing fast-paced moving world. So to ground yourself by being grateful, and also the motivation with whatever it is that you're listening to, if it's music, if it's a podcast, that's sometimes just gives you a boost of energy and fresh perspective. I can agree that without realizing, I guess those are ways I'm being kind to myself too. And then the feeling beautiful, getting beautiful, that's like the cherry on top, because it's something about when you're beautiful, it's like you radiate and then you can just, compliment everyone, the world, and be kind to them. It's just, again, an even exchange if you continue to have that mindset and not just be like sucked by what it is to, be down or negative, rise above it. So I think that's super important. In that case, for others, how can they incorporate kindness to their routine? I know we touched upon a few right now, but like, what are, I guess, more of a, how can I phrase this? What are other ways that people can be kind in their routine, whether they're realizing it or not?
Well, I think everyone should just say good morning, say hi, smile. Let's say for me that I'm a driver, you could, one more car, one less car, just try to let the other people pass, try to open the door for someone. Like I said, you don't know what the other person's going through. Try to be kind for the other people. That we should always, everyone, put yourself in the other person's shoes and say, I'm having a bad day, but tomorrow's going to be a better day. Probably that person's having a bad day too, and incorporate in your life just to be kind, smile. I mean, I always say every day, every time I say hi to someone, smile. You don't know when you're going to lose your teeth, So
Right.
let them out, So I believe that just by saying hello, smiling, acts of kind each day.
It's funny when you saying this, it kind of like there's times in life where, I mean, we're in New York. There's times where you could be like walking down the street and then someone stops you. And then sometimes I wonder to myself, like, why did they stop me? Like, not to be rude, but it happens quite often. And I think it comes from, in some cases, having an appearance where you're welcoming. For instance, a smile or the glimmer in your eyes or something. Walking with your head held high. Those things people can take notice of. But I always wondered, like, oh, why are people, always asking me? And I give directions, absolutely, if I feel it's safe enough. It's something that did cross my mind in what you just referenced.
I think it's something because that same thing happens to me, or like I'm walking somewhere and someone just says something to me. I think it's something that you project. Probably something in your face, probably you seem like a nice person. Because even when your looks, like now you're only your looks, by you smiling or just having, when someone is upset by looking at their face. So you just try to have a nice face when you go out there. I always try to say that. I'm gonna say something now that I don't know if it's a proper thing to say. It was like in Spanish when I'm talking, in my car or whatever. I always say, si usted se levantó con cara de culo, vuelva y acueste.
You guys heard that. It's true. It's true. You
I
don't want.
always say that. Try to wake up with a smile. Try to be grateful. Come outside, and just, if it's raining, okay, fine, it's raining. Tomorrow the sun will come out. Life is too difficult to make it more difficult by not having a good day just because you woke up with a bad attitude or you don't want to go to work or you're stuck in traffic. You don't know what you might be, God might
Protected.
be protecting you from, by
Mhm.
being stuck in traffic. So let it be. Don't make it more difficult than what it is.
In terms of kindness and routine, I think kindness is something that is simple. It doesn't need to be this extra gesture. Everything that you just mentioned, smiling, waking up, with this positive radiance. And even if you're not feeling the positive radiance, you can find the small things throughout the day that can attract that kind of energy back and give
Mhm.
back to others. For example, seeing a rainbow. Some people love it when it rains, that they're indoors. These little things that embody that energy is a good way to remind yourself that outside of routine, these are things that attract the kindness within each other.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. It's just, like I say, life is so difficult. And, for us to be more difficult about it, just be kind, be smile and just go out there with the best attitude that you could have. And like you said, even a podcast, there's times that I wake up and I'm like, thank God I'm alive, thank God I'm in the wake up call this morning and stuff like that. But I still feel like a little down because we're human. But there's times that I just put a song that I like, or I just put a podcast. I have two different podcasts that I hear every morning. And I always say one of those two are going to make me feel better. You always try to find something to make you feel better because life is hard. We have to make it better.
That reminds me that quote of, and I don't know if I'm quoting it correctly, but life is 10% what happens to you and 90%
50%.
of how.
You react to it.
Exactly. And once again, if you can, it brings us back also to our one of our episodes now this past January, mindset is everything, and how you can shift it. Being kind is simple, and you ought to be kind to yourself regardless of what the circumstances could be for you or your inner circle, your family, because life is going to happen. And we kind of have to just see how we roll with it and be good and kind to ourselves and others because we're in it together, really. One thing that I personally also love is that you have a way of reaching others. And this is, we all know that food is love. It is the universal love language aside from music. And so is dessert. And for all the flan lovers, Elizabeth is the founder of Flantastic. Please, if you can, share with us the story behind your popular Flantastic. I love the story.
Yes, I have my little shop here at home. I make flan and I make flan cocho, which is the flan on top and then chocolate cake in the bottom. Well, I started this little business in my worst time. Like I went through everything that year. I lost my car. I was going through a very difficult situation. I started a new job that I didn't like that well. And I was was saying, oh my God, how am I going to make it? Because how can I make more money? How can I do this? I'm trying to change my job and everything else. So one day, one of my coworkers, it was her birthday. So I decided to take my flan. I usually make that flan. My grandmother showed me how to make it. So I usually make it to take it to my friend's house or whatever, everyone loves it. So that day I just went to my job and I took the flan for this girl. When they started eating the flan, they were like, oh my God, well, you guys, who bought this? And I was like, well, I make it. And they were like, you serious? And I said, yeah, I sell it. I did not sell it. I took it that day and something just came up to me and I said, I sell it. So everyone went crazy. Listen, I was working day and night for 7 days a week for 5 months. Nonstop. I used to wake up at 4 in the morning, make the flan, go to work at 7, sell it at work, and come back home, make more flan for 5 months. And there I decide to do a change in my life. I said, you know what? I'm going to start my new job in February. I set the day and everything, like the month. I'm going to start my new job in February and I'm going to get my new car in February. February 11, I went to get my new car. February 14, I started my new job. And till this day, I still make my flan.
And it is delicious. I love chocolate. And of course, flan, growing up on flan, it was actually my first time trying the chocolate flan. Guys, you have to, if you have a sweet tooth, get yours as well because you won't be disappointed. It definitely brings a lot of comfort to people. And look at how your hard times really turned out for the better. I love that your grandmother actually stood by you while preparing you for that moment, teaching you how to make flan. I'm sure when you were a little girl, and how it's coming full circle and how it made things better for you and for those around you. It is so sweet. I love that.
It's called Fantastic 7. It's on Instagram. Also, the name came out to I have this Mexican friend and I gave him flan. They love in Mexico, they love flan and everything. They make it some different way. And I took it to him and he was like, wow, this is fantastico. He said that to me. And I said, oh my God, fantastic. That will be the name. And then the number 7, it was the day that I sold my first flan.
Lucky 7s.
Yes.
Well, it was a great step in the right direction. All of it was necessary to get you here. So thank you.
Thank you.
I will definitely need to be checking it out. I actually told my boyfriend we're having a fantastic expert in this episode, and he loves flan. So he was like, where is she located? Is she in Philly? I'm like, no, I think she's in New York. But I'm like, we should definitely, we're definitely going to check it out. And I've always wanted to try choco flan. So I cannot wait to go and try. So I'm super excited. And I love the name, by the way. That's such a good name for your business. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So the next question was, so finish this sentence. If you're having a rough day, you should
always think that tomorrow's going to be better.
Simply put, that's you being kind to yourself. Got to change the perspective, people.
Yes.
Tough times don't last, but people do.
Everything in life has a solution. Tomorrow's going to be a better day. That's just your way of thinking, your way of treating yourself. Always be kind to yourself and be kind to others.
I love that. I remember I once had an architecture teacher and she was like, look for solutions, not problems. And that has always stood with me. So I love that.
My grandmother always used to say, everything in life has a solution. The only thing in life that doesn't have a solution is death. Other than that, you're always going to find a solution for everything.
That's true. So how can our listeners get in contact with you and find you?
Well, I have my Fantastic page, which is Fantastic 7. And I also have my personal page, which is Elizabeth Vasquez, but it's EZBETHV in Instagram.
Thank you so much. Guys, be sure to check out Fantastic and Elizabeth. She is a true joy and an adventure. So you definitely can have very nice, positive takeaways just from following her and by having some of her dessert.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Vasquez. I'm in Presente podcast. I'm grateful to be here.
Here are some tips for random acts of kindness. 1. Express gratitude and appreciation. Hugs, kisses, gentleness, and thoughtful words. 2. Take action. Do something kind for someone. Compliment them, maybe perhaps give them a gift, or write them a thank you note.
3, listen, be patient, offer help and support. 4, uplift their spirits, motivate, and inspire.
5, surprise someone with their favorite anything.
I love this.
That was really sweet. Kindness is priceless. Let it ripple. Being kind in a fast moving world connects us to our humanity. Humanity means collectively coming together to create systems of change. The root of kindness stems from empathy, compassion, and awareness. Our history teaches us that it is needed for a more equitable future. As we keep moving forward on our journey, keep sharing and teaching acts of kindness so newer generations never forget how far kindness can lead for the collective good. Kind acts is your soul's light outward, so let it beam. Happy Black History Month. Continue to celebrate and honor those before us. And remember, we are history in the making.
Support Black and Brown businesses, communities, artists, and rights.
Spread the love and lead with a kind heart.
Hey there! Want to stay up to date with the latest episodes and exclusive interviews? Subscribe now and never miss a moment of the conversation.